Hello, my name is Barty and welcome to the MySol Workshop. Today we're going to have a shop talk session. This one might be a little unusual. I've not been able to get in the shop due to my continuing sinus infection problems and results from my surgery. I'm getting better, but for now I just need to be patient and heal. So I've had plenty of time to work on my computer. Something I've been wanting to do for a long time is to move my mysol.com WordPress website to a new hosting provider, a managed provider. So let's look at all of this. First of all, what do I know about websites and website hosting? Before I retired, I worked designing, building, and maintaining websites professionally since about 2000. As an independent consultant, I created many sites for various small businesses and my own personal sites. My last 10 years in corporate America, I wrote website code. I provided technical support for a very large web-based banking interface system used by over 500 banks. A lot of stress there. From both of these experiences, I learned it takes a small army of very talented people to maintain sub-second response time, security from attempts at hacking, intrusion, data theft, and insertion of malware. In my current hosting service, I had to solve these problems myself. To accomplish this in WordPress, in the WordPress world, there are things called plugins. These add feature and functionality to your website. So to try to solve these problems myself, I added the plugin that provided security, pretty good security. I added plugins to provide adequate backups, both daily, weekly, and on demand. And I added plugins to provide page caching to increase the speed of my website. Well, plugins are kind of both good and bad. All of these plugins run on your web server, so you're limited to what your web server can do in terms of performance. Plugins are open code, just like the rest of WordPress. So you can have security holes in plugins that allow your website to get attacked. Plugins can crash other plugins. That's never fun to find. So the fewest plugins you can have are the better. I'm really just tired of chasing a complete solution on my own. I looked around, I've done a lot of studying, I've attended a lot of meetups, and I found WordPress Engine, or WP Engine. So let's look at that and see what it looks like. As many of you know, this is the MySol website, mysol.com. This is a WordPress website. What I really want out of my website is for it to be stable, secure, and fast. So what does that really mean? Let me just show you an example. In my old hosting environment, I used a security plugin called WordFence. Each week it would send me a summary by email of the types of things that it had blocked. As you can see here on this slide, that I had block counts of 71 from Italy and a lot from other nations. These are people that were continually trying to hack my website over and over again. This is one of the constant reminders of how important security on your website is, because it's being hacked or trying to be hacked all the time. Over the years I've worked with WordPress, I guess I've learned a lot. Went to a whole lot of meetups in the past 2 years since I've retired, and I've looked at a lot of solutions and learned a lot about hosting and SEO and just a lot of things that have to do with WordPress. Based on that, I happened to run across WP Engine. And from what I learned from that, it seemed like the best solution. I'm going to go through some slides here and just tell you in my own words some bullet points from their website and what it means to me and my version of this. You can find all this on the WP Engine website and look in the blog regarding this post. And you'll see a whole lot of links there that kind of expand all this information for you. So let's just get started and look at these slides. First thing we want to look at is to having a stable environment for your WordPress website. WP Engine took the approach of building only for WordPress. There's an entire server environment with multiple servers, multiple rings and layers of servers just to support each individual WordPress website. The next important feature to add to stability is the availability of 24/7 technical support. WP Engine provides this through an interactive on-screen dialogue with a technical support person. This works very well. They're very, very responsive, and I've had several small problems that had to be solved and a couple of difficult ones. And they did get resolved completely to my satisfaction. So 24/7 is a big deal. Another very important facet of stability is actually getting your website moved onto the WP Engine servers in a very easy and a reliable fashion. They have an onboarding readiness plugin that just makes it really work. I moved my entire website, including 4,000 images, and basically it was about 99% effective. A couple of problems that had to be solved, but then again, the 24/7 technical support people did that just fine. Another thing that can cause unstable websites are the WordPress updates themselves. WordPress Engine has 44,000 customers, so they know pretty quickly when an update is stable, and they'll go ahead and update your site for you. This email is an example of the WordPress Engine managed update process. WordPress came out with a new release 4.50. It was not installed. Release 4.51 was installed automatically by WordPress Engine after they deemed it approved. And very quickly a flaw, a vulnerability it's called, was realized, and WordPress put out the 4.52 release, which WordPress Engine immediately applied to my site, as you can see here. This is an excellent example of what managed hosting is. Backups of your website are another item that really creates stability. WordPress Engine has a scheduled update system that runs every single night. And also, if I need to do a backup for some reason during the day, if I'm making changes to the website and I want to make sure I have a backup point, it only takes a few minutes for me to get a backup, instant backup in place, and something I can use and roll back to if I needed to. All this is managed by them outside your WordPress environment with outside backup layers. It's very, very effective. The final area I want to talk about in terms of stability of your website is this free staging area I have mentioned here. This provides you with a way to actually copy your production website to a staging site, which is private, it's not public. And you can make any changes you want. If you were making really massive changes to your website and you want to test them out before anyone could see them, it's backed up like your other sites, so you have a lot of control over what's going on there. And then that's free, included in the price of your production site. When you get through with that, you can put that into production directly, and you've tested it, and again, you end up with a very stable environment. The next area we want to talk about is your website being secure. WordPress Engine creates a highly secure environment through multiple layers of security. They're protecting you from bogus traffic trying to hit your site, as I showed you earlier, from various countries just trying to hack into your site. They stop embarrassment of somebody actually defacing your website, and a lot of other things we'll talk about here. First step in this is just simply manage WordPress servers, which means that they protect your environment from other WordPress environments. The next step is real-time detection. This simply means that they are looking at your code all the time to see if any file size have changed on programs, and to make sure that the code on your site is real WordPress code and hadn't been tampered with by anybody. Another layer of security is they're performing security audits in the form of code reviews and other security looks at new plugins and existing plugins and high-use plugins. And also they have the advantage of working with 44,000 customers. So they look at what happens when someone does get hacked, and they do fix it. And they can figure out what happened and go back and review code to make sure that they don't have any code that looks like this on other servers. A whole nother area of concern that anybody with a website wants is they want their website to be fast. They want pages to return really fast when someone hits enter on the browser. Search engine optimization, or SEO, in other words, how does this thing look at Google when Google searches you depends on your site being fast. It starts with a finely tuned technology stack. It goes back to the whole concept that WP Engine was created to do nothing but serve WordPress websites. So there's layers and layers of things they have done to enable this. And let's just look at those. WP Engine has created a methodology they call traffic prioritization, which enables them to serve up frequently used common pieces of code outside of your actual website. And it's amazing how much stuff gets repeatedly served just to display a website. The next thing is page caching. They have something they proprietarily called Evercache that caches frequently used pages in your website. And it's amazing. I've been absolutely amazed at how blazingly fast my website seems on this hosting environment based on my previous hosting environment. I'm very pleased with that. So, you know, in the end, the big deal is what happens if your website does get hacked? Well, the big news is WP Engine will fix it free. That's huge. In other words, they're doing such an incredible job of securing your website, providing a stable environment, and providing stable code, reviewing code, that they can afford to say that they will fix your website, because it rarely happens on them. And that's a huge, huge deal. I don't know of any other real hosting provider that will guarantee that they will fix your website for you. So this is all good news, but I guess the bad news is it's not cheap. It's $30 a month for a single website and for your staging website. Now, I was paying for WordFence. I was paying for backup sources. And I didn't have as fast a website as I have here. So all in all, if this thing gets hacked one time, if my website gets hacked one time, I'm coming out ahead. And I'm just very pleased with this, and I don't have to worry about sitting in a chair until this thing gets fixed. If you want to look at something interesting, go to my blog, and I'm gonna put some website links up there about what happens when your website gets hacked and how many different ways you can get hacked and all this junk. So that's the reason I went to WP Engine. Well, I hope you found some of this interesting. If you don't have a website, you probably didn't. You probably hadn't gotten this far, and you're not even going to hear this. But what I want you to do is, I've got a whole bunch of information in my blog. So I've linked to my blog below with a lot of links and stuff that might make sense to you and might help you study this for yourself. So really, thank you for watching today. If you have any questions about your websites or about WordPress in general, whatever, put them down below in the question area, and I'll make sure that I respond to them. I do enjoy the MySalt website. I do enjoy putting content out. I don't enjoy the technical parts anymore. I'm kind of over that. I've did it for 45 years, and I just don't enjoy doing that part of it. And WP Engine are just pure professionals doing this. So if you have enjoyed this and you do like my videos, go back and look at some of the old videos I've done. They are on woodworking. And do subscribe to my website up here. I really thank y'all for watching. Look forward to your questions. Put them in down below. And remember to check the blog. Has a lot more links and a lot more information about the whole WordPress world. And thanks for watching. I really do appreciate that. Thank you.